guys? Jake with TN330. We'll come to another special red dot review. Today, we are looking at the Aimwin PN330. Now, this is an RMSC, or also known as shield pattern red dot, that just came out to the market, and Aimwin was kind enough to actually send this out to us. Much appreciated, guys. They wanted us to go over all the specs and features with you and give you our thoughts and opinions on it. Now, you guys know that anytime we get free stuff, we tend to beat the piss out of it. We do this because we think it's important to us, and probably to you at home to know, if stuff like this, budget-friendly red dot stuff like this, is worth your time, but more importantly, your hard-earned money. So, today, we're going to actually zero it, go over all the specs and features and everything and all that good stuff, and then we're going to properly beat the piss out to see if it can hold up or survive for that matter. Let's see how she does. All right, so we are going to start off here today, about 20 yards. Got my micro dagger 15 round mag in here. Let's just see where we are on our silhouette target here, our rubber infant defense target. So going over the specs and features of the PN330. This is the RMSC, also known as shield pattern red dot. This red dot was sent to us again, like I said, for free from Aimwin. This red dot in particular has a 2 MOA dot with a 32 MOA circle around it. And just like with a lot of other red dots out there, it can actually cycle between having the dot and circle, or just a circle, or just a dot, and then back to dot and circle. So it's become a common thing now. It's like in the meta of the red dot world. It's very common to see that. I'm glad that they're doing that as well. It uses a CR2032 battery, one of those little flat, almost like nickel, between nickel and dime size. And here's the thing that's a drawback about this particular red dot. It goes underneath. Now, I've got this mounted up here today. I'm not going to take it off today to show you, but I've got some footage on my phone from last night. It goes up underneath between your slide and the red dot. Not a fan of that. I know Trigicon did it forever, and most of the time people know that if you do that kind of design, then it means in order to replace the battery, you gotta take your red dot off, and that means you're gonna lose your zero when you put it back on, usually. So, kind of a miss there, but I see why they did that. When you really look at the design here, it's got two large rubberized buttons. One's on this side, and one's on that side. They didn't really have room to put like a little side-loading battery tray, and because this is a smaller red dot in that shield / RMSC pattern, you don't really have room up there either to actually have a little lid there to stick your battery in. Move it off. I think we're zeroed, but it's kind of all over the place. I'll let you see it here. The one on the right I used first, and it was just kind of all over the place. Shot the steel a few times to see kind of where my zero's at in the middle there. And then on the left side here, kind of aiming for that top right corner above the shoulder right there, that little shoulder area. And then after that, I kind of brought it down towards the middle, and it was kind of just all over the place. I'm not sure exactly if it's me, probably, maybe. I mean, it's a smaller barrel, smaller gun, so that could be something to do with it too. While we're up here, I will show you that it is in fact open and mirror, obviously. You've got your elevation there, as well as your windage there, and it is 1 MOA adjustments per usual. No surprises there. I do like that they offer these little notches. You see those little notches there? Not what I'm touching, but what I'm pointing to on the red dot. Those are very nice because sometimes when you put a red dot on like this, it tends to sit high, and sometimes you have the risk of blocking out your rear sight and making your rear and front sight not able to line up. Now, fortunately, with this particular setup, this micro dagger, we don't really have that issue. It is sitting lower than my rear sight, but it's nice to have it there because, say you got like maybe, I don't know, P365 or something else out there that doesn't have as high of a sight as this, then you might run into problems. That's neither here nor there. We don't have that problem today. But I want to point out to you, if you are worried about that, you can in fact use this as a rear sight if you have to. If say your battery dies or your red dot breaks. Don't know why that might happen here, but you know, we'll just see. Now, with that CR2032 battery, you do get 11 different brightness settings, 9 of which are going to be for daylight use, 2 of which are going to be for night vision. They advertise it as getting 20,000 hours of battery life. I don't know if that's going to be like on the highest brightness setting, probably not, But the point is, you're supposed to get about 20,000 hours of battery life out of this red dot. On top of that, they do have the auto off feature, the shake awake thing where you set this down somewhere and you leave it, it will actually turn off after a few minutes until you pick it back up. And then once you pick it back up, it detects that motion, it cuts back on to the same brightness level you had before. So I do like that they have that. A lot of companies, a lot of these budget-friendly red dot companies are turning to that because they see that people really want that. Hollison's the one that kind of originally started, and now it's trickled down below to these other companies. So good on them for doing that. Now the price of this dot comes in at a decent price. It actually comes in at $189 on Amazon. A lot of times when you've got smaller red dots like this, you tend to see prices that are a little bit higher, $250, $300, it's expensive. So good on them for giving us a good budget-friendly option. But that's not gonna matter if it can't handle a little bit of torture and abuse. Sorry, it's getting windy. We're gonna properly beat the piss out of this to see if it can hold zero or even survive for that matter. So, on to the beating. Behold, the tree of damnation. This is where we use the red dot, essentially like a hammer, smacking against a tree about 10 or 20 times or so. We're unloaded, of course. Okay, so far this one's okay. Check it out here. If you look closely there, there's my dot. There is the housing. Everything is okay. Glass did not break. Let's see if we still hold zero, roughly about where we were before. That's not a bad grouping. We'll show you what we got. So on my first couple of shots, I was actually trying to aim right in the dead center of the top half of the A zone. And then after I was actually able to see the bullet hole in the second shot, I went ahead and started aiming for the exact bullet hole that I could see. And as you can see there, it will slightly look like to the right. That's just because of where I was aiming at the same bullet hole over and over again. Once I had a point to aim at, well, you can see all my bullets were very, very close. Behold! The brick of damnation. If you've watched the channel before, you know the drill. This is where we take a fully loaded magazine, in this case a PSA Micro Dagger 15 round magazine, load up, of course we're empty of course, and then we're going to drop it chest high to sort of simulate the absolute worst case scenario of dropping your handgun. What would happen to that red dot if you were to drop it with a fully loaded magazine and you happen to land it directly on concrete onto that thin little aluminum housing? It's not a matter of if it's going to break. We know it's going to break. That is what happens here. But how many drops does it take to actually get there? That is what we're trying to find out. One. I just want to point this out. We're good. One drop, no break. See that? There's my red dot. You can see it sort of fuzzy back there. It's just out of focus. Real quickly, I want to show you that, but I got a feeling this is the one it's going to break on. If you look closely, maybe you can't see it. Look at the very bottom edge. And now that I've caught it in the light, look at the top corner there too. If I go this way with it, you can clearly see it. See that? Start cracking a little bit there. Do we dare to test fate and try to drop it a third time? Yes. Last time, 3, 2, 1. Oh, and that's definitely going to be it today. Oh man, oh man, oh man. Okay. Check it out. Oh, nice, clean, clear cracks right there. You can clearly see that's where it hit and took the most impact. Don't worry, I'm not pointing the gun myself. See that there, all that damage? I think you can see. I think you can see where the action's at, right? Look at that. Look at that. I put my finger to it. Do I feel any cracks? No. All the cracking seems to be, for the most part, internally, except for one on the inside. Let's get my ear pro on, and let's just Run through these 15 rounds and see what happens. Got a little bit of double vision, double dot action going on here with that crack. Let's see if I can still use the dot. The good news is you can still use the dot. The bad news is it has shifted down a little bit, but I was able to hit steel targets still just by compensating for that. So there's my target, that one. And you can see overall there's nothing above the halfway point of the A zone. I was aiming at the top half of the A zone. When I tried to actually aim at the bullet holes I had made, my shots clearly were lower, as you see there. It's down and to the left just a little bit. Yeah, just down to the left a little bit. So then I was able to hit these steel targets by just compensating for that a little bit there. But yeah, so we did have a shift in 0. On the plus side, I didn't have well, I didn't have glass hit me in the face, so that's nice. I like that. But overall, not too bad. All right, my thoughts and impressions on the Aimwin PN330. I gotta be honest with you. For what it is, it held up pretty decently well. I don't expect you guys to come out and drop the red dot on bricks and beat the piss out of them on trees or poles or whatever you got. I really just do this to kind of show you the worst case scenario of what you could be dealing with if you bought one of these. I would not use this for duty use, but if you want to use this for range or if you want to use it for self-defense, I think those are really good options. The main important thing I want to take away from all this testing is that even though we smacked against a tree of damnation, number one, it didn't break, but number two, it still held 0. We don't always see that happen here. So it's nice to see that this one, this smaller micro dust for more like an everyday carry setup, is good to go. I like it. And I think if you're looking for something that's sort of sub 200 price range, I think this might be a good choice. Guys, that's going to wrap it today. If you enjoy this kind of content, make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below. What do you think about the PN330 from Aimwin? I'd love to hear from you. We will see you next time.